Story 1. 31M. Husband cheated on 27F me with his fit and skinny gym friend. I came home from work early. I'm an OB nurse, so my schedule is often unpredictable. As I pulled into the garage, I noticed a pair of women's sneakers that weren't mine. In that moment, I think my heart already knew what I was about to walk into. Lately, my husband has gotten really into fitness. He's been going to the gym regularly and recently made a new female friend there. He even brought her over for dinner last week. She's gorgeous, slim, radiant, confident. Everything I'm not. I try not to let it get to me, but I felt the sting deep down. So I brought it up. I told him how I felt, about her, about me, about the insecurity that crept in like a shadow. He reassured me, said he loved me, that he'd always be loyal, that I should try to build my confidence and trust in us. But today shattered that illusion. I walked into the house through the laundry room and moved as quietly as I could. I went upstairs, and that's when I saw it. Them. In our bed. Right beneath the framed photo from our wedding, still hanging beside the nightstand. I didn't say a word. I just turned around, walked back to my car, and drove away with tears pouring down my face. Since then, I've just been existing. I got something to eat because I hadn't eaten much all day, and I sat in my car, crying, trying to make sense of what just happened. Now it's nearly 1 a.m. I've come back to the hospital, and I'm lying in an on-call room, still crying. He's called to ask where I am. I told him I'm still working a late shift. But really, I just can't bear to go home. Right now, I feel broken. Ugly. Worthless. Stupid. I don't know what to do or how to move forward. Part of me wants to walk away completely, divorce him, cut ties, never look back. But another part of me feels like, who else would even want me? I don't feel beautiful or desirable. I feel disgusting. And that self-loathing is eating me alive. If anyone has advice, please. I need something to hold on to. Edit. Thank you to everyone who has offered kindness and support. I truly didn't expect this level of response. That said, I'd like to ask that people please stop commenting. I've read enough, both comforting and cruel, and while some words have helped me stay grounded, others have hurt more than I want to admit. I'm not here for likes or attention. I just needed somewhere to be real. I still don't know what I'm going to do. I know many of you are urging me to leave, and maybe I will. But marriage is complicated, and what you're reading is just a sliver of a much bigger life. He wasn't always like this. He used to be a great partner. And I can't help but feel, in some way, that I contributed to all of this by letting myself go physically. I don't know what the next step is, but I know I'm not okay right now. That's all I can say with certainty. Final edit. I didn't think this would go viral. To those of you who've been supportive, thank you from the bottom of my heart. But to the handful of people messaging me cruel things about my weight or mocking the fact that I ate after finding out what happened, please stop. I'm in pain. Real, crushing pain. And those comments don't help. For the record, I've been working since 7 a.m., with only one short break for lunch at 11. By the time I left, I was starving and shattered. Grabbing food wasn't some indulgence. It was a basic human need during a moment of heartbreak. Please be kind, or at least be silent. Comment 1. When you see a woman that you don't find particularly attractive or skinny walking down the street with her partner, do you think she deserves to be cheated on? I really don't think so. You wouldn't be this mean to anyone else, so why treat yourself this way? Comment 2. Take it from me. The worst possible thing is to stay with him because you are afraid of not finding someone else. Life is just too short to be miserable with someone who doesn't value you. You are still young. Don't waste that time. Story 2. My MIL tampered with my birth control, resulting in me getting pregnant 3MO postpartum. Not really sure what to do from here. I'm reaching out here because I really need to vent and get some support in the most anonymous way possible. If you know me, please don't say anything. I created this throwaway specifically to process everything that's happening. I'm still happy about the pregnancy, or at least I want to be, but I'm also feeling a lot of confusion and frustration. Thanks for understanding. So, my husband, 22M, and I, 20F, had our daughter 18 weeks ago. She's a sweet, easygoing baby. Honestly, she's been pretty manageable for a newborn. But there's one thing: she wasn't the son my in laws were desperate for. My in laws had this obsessive idea that we needed a son, to the point that they completely denied she was a girl until she was born. They kept saying, the bloodline follows the father. If you don't have a son, the family name dies because your daughter will marry and take on someone else's bloodline. Girls don't really matter. When they visited us in the hospital, the first thing they asked was when we'd be trying for another baby. We just laughed it off, but my Aunt Mile was persistent, even going as far as to tell us, you need to try for a boy. Over the next couple of months, the comments tapered off, but they were still there, little jabs every now and then. My Aunt Mile started coming over daily to watch the baby for a few hours so I could sleep and maybe clean up a little. She'd be there unsupervised anywhere from 1 to 4 hours. Fast forward to 2 days ago. My husband made me a drink, and when I brought it to my lips, I suddenly had this strange, paranoid feeling. I immediately put the drink down and insisted we take a pregnancy test. It came back positive. We took another one the next morning, positive again. Based on my last period, I should have been about 6 weeks along. After the shock wore off, we were excited but also confused. We've been using condoms and being extra careful, but somehow, we're here with another baby on the way. We decided to keep it quiet for now because we didn't want another try for a boy situation with my in-laws. But I'm really close with my sister-in-law, Sael, so I told her in confidence, swearing her to secrecy. Her reaction was unexpected. She started tearing up, asking if I was sure and if I was serious. I told her that yes, we're young, but we can support another child. Then she dropped the bombshell. SIL told me that my MIL had been poking holes in our condoms since we brought our daughter home from the hospital. At first, SIL thought my MIL was just venting because of the disappointment over not having a son, but when she realized it was true, everything clicked. That's why the condoms hadn't been working, despite being so careful. That's why my MIL insisted I take naps when she was around. And when she was supposedly cleaning, she was actually snooping for our condoms. She knew I wasn't on birth control because I had told her that my OB went on maternity leave and I couldn't find a new one that accepted my insurance. I'm absolutely furious. I want to go over there and confront her so badly, but I also don't want to deal with this family knowing about the pregnancy yet, especially since I'm not even 12 weeks along and the risk of miscarriage is still high. The only thing that gives me a tiny bit of comfort is that this has shaken my husband out of his mother's influence. He's finally seeing her for who she really is, and that's a relief. I'm happy about the pregnancy, but it doesn't feel like my choice. It feels like my MIL manipulated the situation to try to get the son she wanted. I don't even know how to process all of this. I just want to protect my family, but I don't want my in-laws involved at all. If any of you have experienced something similar or are Irish twins, I'd love to hear how you handled it, because right now, I'm struggling to keep any positive feelings about this pregnancy. Update. First off, I want to clarify that I'm 20 years old, not 18, and I'm 18 weeks postpartum, not 12. The pregnancy would have happened around 6 weeks ago, based on my last period. I also don't care if anyone thinks this is fake. I really wish it were, but it's not. If you don't have advice, please keep your judgment to yourself. Now, for the update. I've been reading all your comments and suggestions, and I can't thank you enough for your support. Having a plan in place has helped ease my anxiety a little. Unfortunately, what my MIL did isn't a crime where we live, so there's nothing legal I can do about it. But for now, I'm planning to cut her off completely. I'm going to gather proof that she's been tampering with our condoms. I've ordered a hidden camera and some latex-free condoms, claiming I'm suddenly allergic to latex, to hopefully catch her in the act. Even if I can't press charges, I want to have proof that she's not safe to be around, especially if this next baby is a boy. I've also decided to change our family's last name. It's a petty move, but if she's going to act like that, nobody gets the name. My husband is fully on board with whatever I decide. He's asleep right now, so we'll be discussing everything in the morning. Thank you again, everyone. Your support means the world to me. Comment 1. If it were me, she would never see me or my kids again. You haven't even had time to recover yet. Her selfishness is going to create so much hardship for you. God, one baby is expensive, but now you'll have two. Going no contact is the only punishment worthy of this. Comment 2. I'm really hoping it's a little girl now, like that would be karma doing her job right there. Comment 3. While the situations of your pregnancy are, well, illegal, remember that you have a choice to not go through it, and the fact this hasn't even come up means that no matter how this pregnancy came about, it is wanted and it will be loved, boy or girl. Definitely in C with Amiel, and I personally would report her to the police for reproductive coercion. Would never ever let her near your kids. Story 3. I'm 18 WPP and 6W pregnant. I just found out my Amiel probably tampered with my birth control to make it happen. I just need to get this off my chest, and for the sake of anonymity, I created this throwaway account. If you happen to know who I am, please don't say anything. I'm here to vent and find support, and honestly, I'm still trying to process everything. I want to be happy about my pregnancy, but I'm struggling right now. Thanks for understanding. My husband, 22M, and I, 20F, welcomed our daughter 18 weeks ago. She's a beautiful baby, and honestly, she's been pretty easy as far as newborns go. But there's one issue. She wasn't the son my in-laws desperately wanted. They were obsessed with the idea of us having a son, and to be blunt, they outright denied she was a girl until the moment she was born. Their reasoning? The bloodline follows the father. If you don't have a son, our family name dies because your daughter will marry a man and take on his bloodline. Girls don't really matter. When they visited us at the hospital, the first thing they asked was when we would be trying for another baby. We laughed it off, but my Amiel insisted, even telling us, you need to try for a boy. Over the next few months, their comments about us having another baby continued in small doses, and I tried to ignore them. We'd already told them it wasn't happening anytime soon, so I just let it roll off my back. Around that time, my Amiel started coming over daily to watch the baby for a few hours while I got some sleep and try to tidy up. She'd often stay unsupervised for 1 to 4 hours. Now, here's where things get crazy. A couple of days ago, my husband made me a mixed drink, and as I went to take a sip, I had this intense feeling of panic. I immediately put the drink down and insisted we take a pregnancy test. Sure enough, it came back positive. We took another test the next morning, positive again. According to my last period, I should be about 6 weeks along. After the shock wore off, we were both excited but confused. We hadn't been able to get on hormonal birth control, so we've been relying on condoms and lube to prevent tearing. So we were left wondering how this happened. But despite everything, we were happy. We decided not to tell anyone yet, especially not his family, because we didn't want another baby pressure campaign from them. I'm very close with my SGL, so I decided to tell her in confidence, swearing her to secrecy. Her reaction wasn't what I expected. Her eyes went wide, and she started to tear up, asking if I was sure. I reassured her that, even though we're young, we can handle another baby. Then she dropped the bombshell. My Emile had been poking holes in our condoms since we came home from the hospital. Esile thought it was just my Emile venting about not getting a grandson, but when she said it so bluntly, everything clicked. That's why the condoms hadn't been working, even though we were careful. That's why my Emile kept insisting I take naps when she was around. That's why she was cleaning my house. She was actually snooping for our condoms. And she knew I wasn't on birth control because I had told her about my OB leaving for maternity leave and the struggles of finding a new one that accepted my insurance. I am furious. I want to confront her so badly, but I'm also still trying to protect the peace. And right now, I don't want his family knowing I'm pregnant. I'm not even 12 weeks yet, so there's still a risk of miscarriage. The only good thing that's come from all of this is that it's opened my husband's eyes to how manipulative and controlling his mother is. He's out of her FOG, fear, obligation, guilt now, which is a relief. But I'm struggling to hold on to any positive feelings about this pregnancy. It wasn't my choice. It wasn't an accident. It was her meddling because she didn't get the son she wanted. If any of you have experience with Irish twins, I'd love to hear positive stories to help me stay hopeful about this situation. Edit/update. I can't respond to every comment, but I've read most of them and I appreciate all the support. Here's what I've done so far. I contacted my apartment manager and asked about the building's trash disposal. I also gave the front office a description of my Emile's car and told them I don't want her on the property for any reason. I found a condom behind the trash can. Nothing seems wrong with it, but I bagged it just in case there's something like fingerprints. Estelle is coming over tonight to give a statement about what she knows. I've looked into reproductive coercion laws, and it seems like they only protect from forced abortion, not a forced pregnancy. I'm going to speak with the police to get advice on my specific situation. I've ordered 2 cameras, one for the living room, one for our bedroom. They'll be here Thursday. I'm planning to buy more condoms and tell Mael that the old ones were leaking, so I can try to catch her if she tampers with them again. I'm not sure if I'll confront her directly. Honestly, I'm not sure I'd be safe doing that, but if she tries anything, I'll have video evidence. This is my hill to die on. I'm not sure if I'll press charges or sue, but I want her to face consequences for what she did. I'm not going to let her ruin my family's happiness. Thank you all again for the support. It means so much. Comment 1. Burn the relationship to the ground and salt the ashes. No contact with Emile, especially if this ends up being a boy. Do not give her what she purposely sought to impose on you. Comment 2. I'm an Irish twin with my sibling. You need to do what is best for you. For me, this would be one of my hills that would lead to scorching the earth. Mill violated you guys in the worst way possible. She is treating you like an incubator to continue the family name. That is horrifying. Congrats on your squish, though. You are not obligated to tell them. Hell, you can cut contact, and that would still be going easy on her. Comment 3. Your first child officially and legally has their father's family's last name. Your second child should officially and legally have their mother's family's last name. Comment 4. This suggestion will cost you a bit of cash. Your in-laws wanted a male to carry on the family's name. They wanted this so badly, they messed with your birth control without concern for your healing body. It takes just as long to fully recover as it takes to bake a baby. They didn't give you a thought beyond you being an incubator and their son a sperm donor. All for a stupid name. So, my suggestion would be to nip the name game in the bud and run on down to a lawyer to change your last names. Do this in strict confidence, telling no one until it's finalized. Then waltz over to their home, give them the good news about the baby, the boom-lowering news about going no contact, and the gleeful news you all have changed your family's last name to something else. Yep, change all of your names to a new last name. Story 4. My MIL tampered with my birth control, resulting in a pregnancy 12W postpartum. What are my options legally? For the full backstory, you can check my post history, but here's the summary. I recently found out that my MIL has been poking holes in the condoms my husband and I use, which led to me getting pregnant just 12 weeks postpartum. This information was shared with me by my SIL. I'm wondering if I have any legal rights in this situation. I live in Texas. Does anyone know what steps I can take? Comment 1. There's a term for this. It's called reproductive coercion. Searching that may give you more info on what course to take. Comment 2. No. You have no proof. Maybe don't let your MIL around your intimates in the future. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.